Okay, we're going.
Welcome everyone. We're here to celebrate Martha and Bill and their 60 years together. They're going to be talking to you about some of the highlights of their life, and we just hope that you relax and enjoy this time together.
Thank you. Well, we're so happy to share some of our experiences with you. Bill and I, we talked about our life and how grateful we are for who we are and how we are.
Well, I say a prayer every day now, thanking God for the good life He has given us. And I stopped to think of it maybe 6 months ago. Hey, we've had a very good life. Yeah.
Yes.
So, and as she said, we have had a good life. So that's the important part, and we've enjoyed it. And we enjoyed our family and friends and our little puppies.
Yes.
Yeah, sitting with us is Zoe, and we call Zoe our, well, actually it's Bill's
Furry four-legged
daughter. Yeah, actually sometimes she gets preference over to me, but she's a wonderful, wonderful companion to Bill. And so anyway, as we look back, we indeed, as Bill said, that we feel so grateful that first of all we've had a very rich life, and as we have shared that our life together, it becomes richer. And we would perhaps wanted to share with you a little bit about what we think helped us to get through this life and to come out, say, better people, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. and we're still in love, very, very much in love. I thought I was in love with Bill about 60 years ago, but I guess I really didn't know what love was until I had an opportunity to spend time with him and to enjoy each other and to see how, as a couple, that love continues to multiply as you go through your life together. And we think that, first of all, when I got married, I thought probably 5 years. You know, I don't think there's anybody that could put up with me for more than 5 years. But I'll tell you, I didn't realize what love was until I experienced it through.
She didn't tell me about 5 years.
No, but I, you know, I am a fairly independent person, and I have a lot of goals, and I didn't think that someone would, you know, be patient with me to let me fulfill my life, and I would want to help him to fulfill his as well. First of all, we're two very different people, and we couldn't be more different than anybody else because, first of all, I grew up on a farm. Bill grew up in the city of Detroit. He knew a lot about living that I didn't know, but of course I knew about the simple things that maybe he didn't understand. So we began to share some of our differences and to see how we could work together to strengthen our relationship. He grew up in a very small family. He had one sister. I had 6 brothers and sisters. And so there was a lot of difference in growing up with a large family than a small family. And he also grew up with a very strong ethnic background. He was Slovak. So, and they had very, patterns of celebrating and things that we didn't know. And then,
Well, we had different things. Easter, we had our Easter baskets, but with kielbasa and ham and egg cheese and stuff that you didn't see it, and some of you would see, but not all of it. And I really, I was raised in 2 different religions, in the sense they're both Catholic, but the Byzantine religion, and the Catholic. I went to Catholic school for 8 years, but then when it came to confirmation, I didn't have to go where the rest of the kids were, because as a Byzantine person, I was baptized and confirmed at the same time. So it's a difference. And the other thing is, I have a sister who's very lovely, and I love very much, but I helped raise her. I was in the 8th grade when she was born, and Dad and Mom worked. Dad worked Mom worked days, Dad worked afternoons, so there was a period in between him having to go to work and the time Mom came home that we couldn't depend on my grandfather to take care of her. So they got me out of school an hour earlier, and I helped raise her. So in a sense, I am a father figure to her also.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
And
She was 10 when I met her, when I met Bill, and I know that it was very difficult for her because she loved her brother very much, and I think she at first saw me as a threat because here I was, getting attention from her brother and she was a little afraid, but actually she's become one of the best friends I've ever had, and she's very nurturing. She's a very nurturing person to both Bill and I. But and the other thing, of course, I grew up Methodist, and so our religions were very different. We were married in the Catholic Church. I went to take lessons, so to speak, and it's worked out well. Actually, I think that more than the religious part is the way that you feel about God and how He impacts your life. And so we live in a house where we have a beautiful natural backyard, and so every morning I go out and I talk to God, and I don't do much attending of church, although I did when I was a youngster. I went to church very regularly, but so that it says that the melding of our faith has been pretty natural, so we haven't had any difficulty with that. But one of the things about Bill, he's a very loving, attentive man. He first of all, he's brought me flowers every week for 40 years, over 40 years, as you can see. I've got fresh flowers in the house all the time. Usually 2 bouquets because the bouquet from last week hasn't died yet. So, but he insists on having flowers, and he tells me he loves me every day, at least 3 or 4 times a day. When I do things for him, he's very thankful.
yeah, I say thank you.
Yeah, he does thank me. Thank you. And sometimes I'll go out in the kitchen for breakfast, and there's a banana on the table, and on the banana it says "I love you." He takes a ballpoint pen and he puts the dots in the banana, and it says "I love you." And when he says he loves me, he says "I love you very much." So we try to share our love for each other and give thanks to being with each other and caring. One of the things that I did, I've got a letter here that I've written for Bill, and it's on his dresser, because I don't know, it was back in 2006, that's a long time ago. I was sitting at my computer, and I don't know, all of a sudden my fingers began to move, and it started out by letter to Bill, my loving husband and friend for eternity, June 2nd, 2006. And this letter that I wrote to him, he keeps on his dresser. He reads it very often, right, darling?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I'd share it with you because it kind of reflects our relationship and what it means to me and why we've been very successful in being wonderfully happy and in love, and our love has only grown. But anyway, it says, "My dearest Bill, as one never knows when you may be the last word, to say the last word to one another, I'm writing now to let you know that these would be my last words to you. Know that I always have and always will love you as my husband and friend. I'm sure that our meeting, falling in love, and spending a wonderful life together was not an accident, but divine intervention. As I look back over my life, I would never have imagined that it could have been so wonderful and so complete without you. You've been a wonderful husband, lover, and friend. I have never doubted for 1 minute You have provided me with inspiration, support, and love to be myself and to let me grow. And being able to grow and be myself has been the greatest gift you could have given me. Through our love, I have been able to have and help you and others and make a footprint in the universe. You express to me your love in so many ways, both spoken and unspoken. I could never count the years, the number of times you said I love you. You often told me several times a day, I love you. Yes, I love you very much. And you did it without hesitation. You also told me thank you for so many things, even the little things that I might have done. Because we are soulmates, and your love also came through in so many unspoken ways. For instance, when you would look at and gaze at me through your smiles that you gave me when you were happy and so proud of me. You express your love daily through all the flowers that you've given me weekly, sometimes more, and that's been for over 40 years every week. You knew that I loved them, and I recognized it was because you loved me. That made them even more special. I've had a wonderful life, and much of it has to do with you.
Really?
Yes. I've made a difference because I had your support and love and your willingness to share me with others. Please know that all my friends are your friends. They do not see us as separate. Many of them have wanted to clone you, and that is for sure.
I make a wonderful poem.
Let's see. It is so rare to have a wonderful man as you. You are a sensitive, caring man who is willing to stand in the shadow and help their mate grow and achieve their potential. You indeed have a rare and you are indeed a rare and wonderful human being. I just hope that I could give you as much as you've given me. We've been blessed with a wonderful life. We've had a wonderful family and friends and puppies who have shared and enriched our lives. When we must separate, I look forward to seeing you again in a new life and continuing our journey together forever. When I hear the themes from Ice Castles, it reminds me when I found you. If you reflect how much I love you and measure and treasure you, the two greatest things in this life is when I found God and I found you. Mm-hmm. Love you always, Martha. So that was kind of expressing what I felt about Bill. As I said, I can't imagine life without him, and he's given me so many cards and letters and kisses, and he hasn't. And the thing is that we've learned to disagree. You know, we don't have to always agree with each other. We can both be right. You know?
That's right.
And that's.
I'm left-handed, but I'm always right.
By the way, we are sitting in our presence here are my two nieces, Linda and Patty, who I've known since they were babies, and they're wonderful husbands, Rod and Stephen, and they've been just wonderful supporters of us. But I just thank God. I didn't think I was going to get married. Really, I didn't. I was a very shy girl. I really, people see that as really difficult to believe because I'm not shy anymore. But when I was growing up, I was very shy, and I didn't date. I didn't
talk much either.
I didn't talk much either. No, I didn't date in high school. I belonged to the 4-H group, and we'd go out as a group. But I never dated a guy individually here because I just was not mature enough to do that. And so I didn't have many boyfriends before I met Bill. That's why I was wondering if I could get along, you know, if we would work out. But he swept me off my feet, really. No, he really didn't. As I said, I grew up on a farm. I went to nursing school I've been a nurse for 62 years. I just retired about 3 years ago. But when I was in nursing school, I met him, by the way, on New Year's Eve, back in 1953.
Mhm.
Yes. And he actually, I met him in person in 1953. But I met him about a month before I really met him. Because I saw his picture on the desk of one of my nursing students. We had gone to Detroit for our pediatric nursing, and many nursing schools sent their students there for 3 months to learn how to take care of children. And so I met this person from another school. She was from Detroit, and she had the picture of this guy on her desk. And she would always say nice things about him. I hadn't met him. And she would come home from a date, and she'd bring pizza. Now, she'd offer me some pizza. I never met the guy, but she'd bring this pizza, and of course, living on a farm in a small city, I didn't know what pizza was, but it was good. But she decided to, she was going to have a New Year's Eve party, and would I like to go, because her boyfriend would pick us up and we'd go to the party. And of course, as I said, I didn't date, but she said, well, we'll have a fellow there, you can, for your date. So it was 5 o'clock on New Year's Eve in 1953 that he comes walking up the steps at the nursing dorm, and he comes and picks us up. And here is this guy. He's well dressed. He has a camel-haired fingertip coat, dressed very, very lovely. I grew up on a farm, so kids I knew, they didn't dress like that. And he escorted us down the steps, took my arm and his girlfriend's arm, and escorted us down the steps of this dorm to this wonderful car. He had this wonderful Pontiac. It was
53.
53 Pontiac, and it was very nice. And he went and he opened the door and assisted me in the car, and Marlene, and we went up to the party. We were starting to go up to the party because we had to go and fix the food at her sister's house for the guests that would come. So on the way there, she said, I've got to go shopping. I've got to get something for my sister. And why don't you and Bill go to the restaurant?
That was a coffee shop.
Coffee shop.
Right next door.
Yeah, and have some coffee, and I'll do the shopping, and I'll come get you. So we get there, and of course, I didn't know how to talk to guys, I was very quiet. And here's Bill. He had just been out of service. He'd been in Korea in the Navy. So he began to talking about his experience in Korea. So I was a good listener, right?
That changed.
And so anyway, then Marlene came, and we went and drove off to her sister's house, and we were preparing the food, and
Doing some decorating.
and doing decorating. And there were only 3 of us, Bill and Marlene and myself there, and so Marlene was busy fixing the food because I don't do that well. And I would carry it into the dining room, and so I was getting the table set and all this stuff, and I was going back and forth through the dining room door, and then Bill was, then I went to go through later, and there's Bill standing by the door, right outside
Doorway.
the doorway. He was in the doorway, and he put his arms around me and kissed me. And Marlene was standing at the desk, or the sink, and I thought, oh my God, I never let a guy kiss me anyway, Here was this guy, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to slap him, and then I thought, oh my God, what's she going to think? And then I looked at, and she was smiling, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going crazy. And then what Bill did, he smiled and he pointed above the door, and there was mistletoe.
Doorway.
Yeah, yeah, and there was mistletoe, and so I got my first kiss. From Bill with his girlfriend watching, and I thought, oh my God. So, but anyway, then we later on they found somebody to, we'd go on a date, and we'd go out to dinner or something like that. There was a fellow that was a friend and actually a relative, and we would quote, double date, and so, but then it was time for me to go back to my school because my 3 months was up, and this fellow wanted to date me, keep our relationship even though he lived in Detroit, and of course, I wasn't into that, so I said, no, I just think we'll just say thank you and goodbye. So about 2 months later, I get a call. It's from Bill. In the meantime, I had to go to the psych hospital for my psychiatric training, and it's from Bill, and he wanted to come and see me. And I said, no, I was worried because he was calling long distance, and it was costing money. And I said, no, well, he said, well, I'd really like to take you out to dinner. And I thought, oh my God, Marlene is his friend, and she's a friend of mine. But anyway, I finally couldn't talk him out of it, so he came and took me out to dinner. And he never mentioned anything about the friend that was a friend of his. So I didn't think anything about it. I didn't want to continue that relationship. So about 3 months later, I had graduated from nursing school, and I wanted to go on to get a degree in maternity and pediatrics and in advanced nursing. So I had to go back to Detroit. So I get my ticket and I get my stuff, on the bus, the suitcases on the bus, and it's raining. It's terrible, a terrible, terrible day. So I get in Detroit, and here I am with all my luggage, and I had to get it to the dorm, and I didn't know how I was going to get all this luggage to the dorm. So I thought, well, I'll just call Bill and see if he will take my stuff up to the dorm and drop me off, period. So he comes and picks me up, and somehow I had kept his telephone number. He picks me up, takes me to the dorm, and it's not ready. I'm going to have it ready for another day or so. So what to do?
Another day.
Yeah, what to do? Here I am, stranded, and I didn't have much money because, my father had died, and I was very limited in money. So he decided that he would take me to different YWCAs, and there was a couple of residences for women in Detroit where you could get a room. So I go there. There's no vacancies. And I thought, oh my God. Well, we left my stuff off at the dorm, in my luggage and stuff to the dorm. I was here, I just had my clothes I had on, and and my purse, and it didn't dawn on me to take any clothes with me. So anyway, no luck. I said, well, I've got to find some place to stay tonight, but it can't be too far from the campus because I couldn't afford the bus. So we found a little place not too far from the dorm, and I go in to sign and register, but I didn't think anything about it. I had no luggage, and they kind of looked at me funny. I had no idea that that people go without luggage to this little hotel.
Someone's looking bad.
Yeah, right. So that was it. And so I didn't. Then he called me up in a few days, and I took a job. I had to work and go to school, so I took a job in at the Children's Hospital. Not the Children's Hospital, the Women's Hospital, which was close to the Children's Hospital, which was a very bad neighborhood. In fact, when we were students, we had to call the police to take us out to the Woodward Avenue. But I didn't think about that. I didn't have any money. I had no transportation. I didn't have a car, so I was walking in through the hood. I mean, the worst place in Detroit, not being so naive. So midnights, and I decided I had to work midnights because I could get more money. You get $1 or $2 more an hour. Bill found out that I was walking to work, and so he volunteered to come and pick me up at night and take me to work. But still, we didn't really date. You know, he was just a nice guy, right? Yeah. So anyway, but over time, you know, I began to see, well, maybe God sent him. You know, I think he did because he's helping me survive. So that's how our relationship began. Marlene, by the way, found a fireman that she loved, as she thought,
And broke up with me.
and it
Before
said,
this.
yeah, so it wasn't as if I took her away. Actually, she was a friend of ours for until she died, right? Years and years. She was a good friend of Bill and mine, and she was never threatened by me, or I shouldn't either. But she was a nice gal too. So but that's why I'm just so surprised that it turned out like it did, right?
So Uncle Bill, how about your side of the story? When you saw her, and what did you think? Like when you first met her and gave her first kiss, what were you thinking?
Get a free kiss.
Oh, nothing's free.
Well, I thought she was a nice looking girl. I liked her cheekbones for high cheekbones. I thought she looked nice, but I had no interest in her because I was going with the other girl.
This was a picture.
After I started taking her to work, and sometimes I'd pick her up early and I'd take her to lunch. Or not lunch,
Yeah.
but a late supper. And she'd order a nice meal and then she'd go and eat it all. And then she told me later on, well, she was getting a White Tower hamburger and a cup of coffee is what she was surviving on.
50 cents a
my
day I
God.
lived out eating.
So her stomach had shrunk, so she
But I couldn't tell him. I
But
couldn't tell him. Mm-mm.
I didn't know that at that time, so I was a little aggravated about the whole, that part. But I felt where it was so dangerous going there because even when she was on affiliation there, one of the girls just going out of the dormitory on the stairway got robbed, you know. And really the police asked that they wanted to go to Woodwood, which is about 2 blocks away or 3 blocks away, but they could get an escort. And so I continued, and Martha was rather naive, and there was a nice aide on the floor, and she was Afro-American, and she sort of tried to help Martha out. And Martha thought these girls in that neighborhood were so nice because they waved to all the guys as they walked by.
And she didn't realize why.
Yeah. So Bob told her what the story was.
So Maud was my black mother. She was one of my aides, and I was very young, and they were so good to me. She taught me a lot about it. But this is how I looked when I first met Bill. Right
Yeah.
here. This is my
Some of the things,
graduation.
Martha probably the fault why we got married. Because she, and if we had a little spat or something, she said, no, you got to stay with Bill. Bye bye.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and she listened for a tree.
There you go. So anyway, it's amazing because I just would never have dreamed of having a relationship so long.
Yeah, well, we never thought we'd have a 50th or a 60th.
Yeah, we're very,
That's for sure.
Very blessed.
yes. What was I going to say?
60 was like a retirement age or dying age at that time.
Yep. But we've had a great relationship. The other thing that's been very helpful is that we're very different. I mean, we are so different as day and night, right?
Or the two of us,
Yeah.
yeah, for one, for the other, yeah.
He's a very much more sedentary person. He loves to read. He's a wonderful friend and relationship. But I tend to be very outgoing, and being a nurse, I guess as I said, I didn't want to be a nurse, but God chose me to be a nurse, and so I felt that I had a lot of things to do. there was things that would happen to me or be presented to me of things that I needed to do to take care of people, to make this a better life, a better world. And so I ended up going, I needed to go on to school, not just get the basic nursing, but, so Bill, he decided that it would be important for me to,
Well, she was offered a scholarship shortly after we got married, and she didn't know if she should if I approved or not. And I said, yeah, I approve, because the better education she has, if I should pass, that she'd be more prepared to take care of herself. And I knew somebody that had a lot of insurance, a young couple, had a lot of insurance on him, but they were hurting because of the insurance. And I was thinking, yeah, I could do the same thing. Then she wondered, when the hell are you going to die so we get some money? So, but I thought this was the better solution.
yeah, so he spent a lot of time supporting me through a long educational period. And as a result, I've been able to do many things, make a real difference in the society. And it's been a very fulfilling life for me, both as a wife, but also as a professional nurse. Although we didn't have biological children, we have what we call our spiritual children. These are young people that entered our life and at different times. And so in a sense, we have been parents to these kids, even though they've lived with their own parents. And we have Sherry, who is our daughter. We met her when she was 7, and she moved next door to us with her mom, and so she's just always followed us around, and we'll get to show us a picture of Sherry. She's wonderful. She's married to Michael. She has 2 sons, so we have 2 grandchildren, but she adores Bill. And
Her father deserted the family when
Oh.
she was younger, so she had no good father. And I used to come home early from work, and start at 6:30. We were home at 3 o'clock already. And so a neighbor's girl would come over and visit with me. She told me about her trip to Camp Dearborn. You could drive it faster. Yeah, but Sherry, when she moved in, she and the girl got together, so they'd come and talk to me. And that's how I got to know Sherry. And then we marked the bell onto the book club, and so we invited Sherry over to take the coats and put them away, and later on to do a little dusting for us. And I would take her out to Saunders for Sunday, and some rides and stuff like that. So we never knew. We moved away, and then she was getting married, and I figured she had a twin brother and an older brother. I figured the older brother would give her away. She asked me if I would give her away, and then she said I'd always been her father figure, and she often, when she came over with her boyfriends, wanted to say, "This is my father," but she couldn't. So
That's wonderful.
that's how our relationship has still been very strong.
oh, she's wonderful.
Yeah, she's a wonderful young lady.
I'm married to a wonderful man too.
And then Martha. What about
Tom?
Tom?
Yeah, then we have a son. Tom was a son of one of my colleagues on the faculty with me. I was a professor for about 40 years, but at the University of Toledo, one of my colleagues has the son, and he sort of adopted me. And Mary Beth, his mom, would always say, "You're Tom's other mother," because we could sit down and have lots of long talks. So this is Tom. We're very
Can you
proud
hold
of
it up,
him.
Aunt Martha, so they can see?
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
hold it up?
This is Tom. He lives in Lexington, Kentucky. He's a CEO of
Water systems.
a water safety, it's a
National.
it's a government institution that develops the guidelines for boating, and he goes all over the country,
Even Canada.
and even Canada, in terms of working with the different agencies in terms of boating regulations. And he's just very talented. He in high school he acted a lot in plays. He's got a beautiful voice. And one day, he didn't have any money for Christmas presents or something. He wanted to, he was feeling very bad, although he came from a very substantial family. He felt badly, and I said, well, Tom, you've got to be inventive. You've got to think of something. So for me, he gave me a recording of Mama Rainbow. It's a beautiful, beautiful story, song, and so he sang that to me, and I do have a recording somewhere of it, but it's he could get me diamonds for doorknobs, but that wouldn't be rich enough because it's a beautiful song. So he's a very loving guy, and he loves Bill as well. So he's
Papa.
he's Papa. That's he doesn't call his
His
father.
father's not that close.
Yeah, not real close. So anyway, we love him dearly. So these are our two kids, and then of course our most important person is Shirley. That's Bill's sister, and she's been a wonderful, wonderful sister. As I say, I sometimes see her as a child, as one of our daughters too, because she was, I think, how old was she when I came in? I think she was about 10, but she has been loving and always caring for us, and she loves her brother. Her brother is the world to her, and of course he loves me as well. So she's really going to be, she's really very responsible for our gathering, our
She was
60.
married and lost her husband,
Hmm.
so she's quite lonely at times.
Yeah. So we spend a lot of time with Shirley, and she's been wonderful, and of course she brings a lot of food. She likes to cook.
Oh, she takes care of us.
She takes care of us.
She's wonderful.
Yeah, she is great.
She is
Comes,
wonderful.
she always brings me a bowl.
So anyway,
Container full of salmon.
Oh. Oh yeah, she's the
Delicious.
top drawer. But anyway, so we have a wonderful family. That I think that's been another plus in our relationship, is to have a very supportive family. I certainly I had a wonderful mother and a family. I had a wonderful older brother who was my niece's father, and my sister. Actually, there were six kids in the family, and I'm the only survivor of all of them. 3 younger brothers have expired, and I had an older brother and sister who also died, and so it's been very hard to keep it up. But they left so many things for our legacy. They left wonderful children for us. So, but I do miss them, and I wish they were here to celebrate our wedding anniversary, which is going to be taking place the last Saturday in August, and we're going to have it at the Highland Meadows Golf Course down the street, where we had our 50th, and we just feel very, very fortunate. Oh, I got a couple of cards out here on my, where's the card? I had a couple of greeting cards, I think, yeah. Anyway, the card I was going to show you, yeah. When I first met Bill, and he picked me up and then he'd take me to work, he wanted to, a graduation picture of me, like you saw. So anyway, when I met him, when he, the theory about you find your missing link, and that's a story that he's kind of your soulmate, and so this was even before I really started dating him very much, and it's like, I forgot which, let's see. Anyway, it's a story about about this missing link, no, I can't find it, I guess it's.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah, but anyway, these are some of the cards he's gotten me, but, it says, a short, sweet note about loving you, my wife. I could say a lot of things about how we are. They were so right and that we so easily go together. I could say that we were so tender and so silly together, that we were so natural and so naughty together, that we were so real and so happy together. But for the purpose of keeping this short and sweet, I'll just say that means we were absolutely meant to be together, you and me. Oh,
It's
just,
beautiful.
I
Don't
have,
read all the cards.
our love tells a beautiful story, but wonderful cards. He always gets, and as I say, flowers every week, and he's just wonderful. I know I haven't been such a good cook. I hate to cook. He does a lot of what?
Well, I'm eating an entree now. I'm in a diet program that's quite small, and it only takes a minute in the microwave. And I think Martha would like me to stay on it for the rest of my life.
That's been a good plan.
Yeah,
for
right.
you
No
too.
dishes. There's no dishes. Nothing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
So-
fruit and vegetables.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what else, Downing, that you want to say. I think sitting right here on Bill's lap is one of his favorite things, and that's his puppy.
Things. She's my furry four-legged daughter.
I know. Let's see, what else? What, you got some questions about?
Well,
No, I mean my nieces and Patty and Linda and.
Well, what advice would you have for our husbands?
don't
To-
listen to her.
So Uncle Bill, what advice would you give our husbands for a long, happy marriage together?
Be careful now.
Yeah. Well, you've been married close to 50 years.
48?
48.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You know
36
what
for
it takes.
36 for us.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you just got to stand by them, love them, and be thankful you have them. Yeah. Buy them flowers once a year at least.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on, no.
She gets me in trouble before you.
Every week, yeah, as you can see, they don't even, those I got last week, and they're still, and these are this week's, and so it's like, there's always flowers in our house, and it's lovely, it's really nice. So I guess that's it, maybe we've talked too much and too long, but, how about you guys? What questions you have to ask Bill or me?
No, I'm just really thankful that you've been in my life. I always knew as a child when I went, and Dad would bring me to holidays, and Uncle Bill would be in a chair with a dachshund. At that time, he smoked a pipe. And Aunt Martha, you went around and greeted everyone and just loved them so tenderly, and I just thought, she's just amazing. Even at a very young age, I always knew there was always something very special about you, and I'm just so pleased that God put you in my life.
Yes.
That, you know, that things have happened over time. When I was 15 and our sister died, I was lost, and
Yes.
you found me.
Yeah.
And, you know, God put you in my life and helped me to take a chance. My parents were wonderful. They loved me, but you just had a different gift, a different spark, because I always felt like I needed to give back too. And I saw such a perfect example of both of you, how much Bill loved you, you loved him, and how you loved people. Everybody that you came in contact with, they felt the love, and you met them where they were. You didn't judge them. You loved them, you invited them in, you were so welcoming. Your door was always open, I always felt welcome. And I always felt a lot of laughter, a lot of love, and that I could just be who I was, and if I needed to cry, you were both there for me. And I just felt always very blessed. I still do, and it's a privilege to come and see you anytime, and I get really excited to hear your voice, whether it's on the phone. It's just, you've just been wonderful, and just the risk that you take, Aunt Martha. You retired how many times? But the first time you were going to paint, I remember having a conversation of well, what do you like about painting, you know? And you said, the only thing that frustrates me is it takes so long. So I said, well, what do you mean? And you said, well, it took me a few weeks, and I thought, she's doing oil paintings and she's complaining about a few weeks. How long did it take these famous people, you know, to paint the Sistine Chapel, you know, years?
Yes.
And just that your passion for life and your zest, and that you just keep on going no matter what. You don't let things get you down, things don't drag you down, and you see the needs and you fill it,
Yeah.
just with so much love.
Speaking of paintings, that painting of the barns is one that I did a long time ago. I have a whole gallery down the
She
hallway.
became a collector rather than a
Yeah,
painter.
most of these paintings,
That's
most
okay.
of these paintings are artists that are Northwest Ohio artists. But yeah, I've painted quite a few. I have a whole gallery of paintings down the street. But yeah, as probably told you, I indicated that I cared for the homeless for 40 years. I started the first nursing clinic in the United States for as a teaching for student nurses. So I set up the clinic down in the inner city, and I took hundreds of nurses through that experience, because I wanted them to know how to care for the underserved. They don't get an opportunity to really get close to poor people, to homeless people, and as a result of their experience, it changed their life. They began to look at, as I taught them to look at the people's hearts, not the exterior of a person, and so they began to become very, very comfortable with them. Now I used to get, I'm a mama to many people, and my name is Mama Nurse. This is just one of the Mother's Day cards I got from some of my homeless men. They would send me I'd have birthday cards and all this, and so they all signed their name with a little message to me, and they really trusted me, and I think through that whole experience that I became a better person, because I could get down into the hearts of people rather than that. And as a result, I've been recognized as one of 200 outstanding women in the state of Ohio for the last 200 years. So I gave a lot, but I got a lot too. And then also, and this is because Bill shared them with my homeless men and women, and they knew all about Bill, and some of them became friends with Bill, right? They would talk to him, and sometimes they would call and talk to him. So another thing that, as I said, Bill really helped me to give back to society. It was this is another award that I got. It's called the Jefferson Award, which is it's considered to be the Nobel Prize for volunteers. It's a very prestigious award. It's given from Washington D.C. It's a national award. So I've got many accolades, but as I say, I never asked for them. They just happened to, people noticed what I did and acknowledged what I did. But the nice thing about it was that I was able to share this with students, and so they carried on the legacy of many of the things that I've started. And but as I said, I sure had a lot of help from God, because I would fall into these opportunities to make a difference, and as I said, it made me a better person, but I couldn't have done it without my husband.
Oh.
Yeah, he's definitely been good.
You made it all the sweeter, Bill.
Yeah, right, yeah. So anyway, let's, we'll say au revoir, and you turn it off, and so thank you very much.
Thank you.